Recording in progress. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of ThymeWeaver and Friends. And today we have a very special friend. I'm so excited. We're going to get to talk with Liz of TreLiz, who is the dyer, the podcaster, also, I think, wonderful creative, dog mama, and many other things. So thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, so maybe you can introduce yourself, Liz, if you'd like.
Thank you for having me. As Nicole said, I'm the dyer behind TreLiz Yarns. I am a mix of French, Greek, and Syrian blood. But I was born in Switzerland. Then I lived a couple of years in Africa, where my parents lived, in Sudan. But I mostly grew up in Greece. I lived a couple of years in France, where I finished school. But then I moved back in Greece, where I studied and used to work as an optometrist and did eye research. But then fiber came into my life, and more specifically, coloring the fibers got hooked me in and made me more interested in knitting, because I was curious to see how the colors would go. And yeah, so welcome to the studio.
Very nice. Yes, we can see all of the beautiful colors behind you. And if you don't already know Liz, like, she has been in Madrid Yarn Festival just recently, and we will be seeing her again here in Spain in Sevilla Teje. So super exciting. And I think that you, like, your stand always stands out because of the beautiful colors and like vibrant, like, color is power. That's like your slogan, no? And I think, yeah, I'm so excited to see your stuff again and to have you in Sevilla, which I think is such a vibrant city and like full of color. So I think that it's going to be amazing.
I really can't wait to be in Sevilla, because I've never been. I love Spain. As a Mediterranean, I love, like, come on, the sun, the sea, everything. And it was really nice being in Madrid. And I think, the Spanish knitting community and crochet is very exciting and, full of ideas. And I really like that vibe. And I really can't wait for Sevilla. But I also, because last weekend I was in Switzerland and I sold a lot of yarn, I'm really into preparations and things. So I'm a bit stressed out because I need to ship my things, until end of April. So very excited, but also kind of a bit stressed. But, it's what makes the engines go, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't even realize how much goes into preparing for a festival, right? Because you have to do all of this logistics beforehand. Like you said, you need to send your yarn and your material there like 2 weeks before the fair, at least, right? And so, okay, amazing. So we will see you in Sevilla. And going back, I always like to ask at the beginning I know you told us about like your history, like where you have lived, but tell us a little bit about where you are living now, because I always like to see like if the geography, the climate, and these things kind of have an influence on your creativity and your dyeing and everything. So tell us about your home.
Yeah. So I live in Athens. I wouldn't say I'm, right in the center of Athens, but I'm not either in the suburbs. It's a quite nice, calm neighborhood where I am at. But the studio is near. Actually, Athens is the city, and around Athens there are like 3 small mountains. You can't really say that they're hills, but because they're a bit higher. So the studio is in one of those. So it's not very far from my house. It's like 15 minutes, but I like it because it's calm. You can easily find parking. If I want, I can take the dog and walk into the woods just behind the studio. And it's really nice because when it starts to get more summery and there's, light in the morning, I really feel like, oh, I'm going into vacation. But even if I'm not, you have this vibe of a bit of a free spirit, because you have, lots of trees and green, and I like that. And otherwise, the weather is quite nice in Greece, but a lot of people think that Greece means hot weather all the time, which is not true. And sometimes even people ask me, like, is it really cold, or are you just wearing your shawls, just for pictures? And like, we are still, a European country, so we have seasons. Even if I think the weather is a bit, we have crazy the weather, kind of bit. So I'll say there's two seasons, a warmer and a colder one. But we can have snow in Athens. It's not that common, but in Greece, in the mountains, there's quite a lot of snow. But even if the weather is like quite nice, or the temperatures aren't that high, like maybe 5 to 10 degrees, and you say, it's okay because maybe you have the sun, but we have a lot of cold wind. So when you have this cold wind, even if there's 10 degrees, like, you're like freezing, because sometimes
You need your shawl.
I wear two fingering shawls, because, from the little holes between the stitches, the air can pass through. So I'm like bundle up, and I'm very easily cold. So I'm happy to be around wool.
Wonderful. Yeah, I see you, because we are in the end of April and you are wearing a sweater right now. So yeah, I think that, well, that's wonderful that you can use your knitwear and like bundle up and have seasons so that you can enjoy that. Sounds beautiful where you live. Okay, so tell us a little bit. You kind of mentioned how you got into the fiber world and like kind of became a fiber artist. So first you started dyeing wool before you started knitting.
It was very early on when I started knitting. I started knitting almost like 10 years ago now, but after 2 months I started crocheting, and after the third month in, I was like, it's okay, it's nice to have a finished project, but I think the colors are a bit dull, or I'm not sure, I don't have the patience. And then my friend's mom, who taught us how to knit, she's French, and so she knew about, like very, very colored yarns and all that. And she said, but, oh, you like painting and you have an eye for color, maybe you can make yours. And I kind of thought that she was joking, because I was like a complete outsider. But then I bumped my head. I had an accident. I bumped my head, so I was in bed rest. So and I Googled it, and there was a couple of blogs, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I should try it." And then another one, "Ooh, that's interesting. I should try it." And then I just started, experimenting with color and with wool, while I was also seeing that you can spin your yarn. So I was like, ooh, I should try it. And actually, after 5 months in, I knew how to dye, and I got a spinning wheel. So actually, and there aren't spinning wheels in Greece, so I just bought one, hoping that it would be a good fit. And thankfully it was. And so I think it was kind of a crazy ride. And then suddenly I have all these yarn that I was like, I'm never gonna knit them all. But it made me a knitter, because I was really curious to see how it will end. So I started knitting more, but I also started an Etsy shop back at the time. And then even if it was the beginning of Etsy, I thought, okay, but who knows me? Like, who's gonna come in my Etsy shop? So I sent an email to Malabrigo Yarns, to ask them if I could have their yarns like in Greece, even if it was online. And they said, yeah, why not? So I had the Malabrigo yarn and mine on my Etsy shop. So people that were looking for Malabrigo came to me as well.
Wow.
And so it started, so I had that on the side of my work. And then after a year in, I think, or a year and a half, I had a lady who she sent me like a message on Instagram under one of my photos, and she was French, so I responded to her in French, and then she was like, "Oh, are you French?" And I'm like, "Well, a mix." And she's like, "Oh, I have a shop. I'm interested." And that's how it kind of started. I was and we had a great collaboration, and she's like my yarn mom, because she helped me set up my prices and all that, how wholesale works. And we really had a very open relationship, and I would go to her shop like every couple or 3 months to do like a small event for her clients. And that was the beginning. And then slowly I started leaving for long weekends to do some festivals. And that was really much a breaking point for me, that it really, had a reason and a sense of what I wanted to do and all that, because I don't have a lot of clients in Greece, actually very few. So I had to travel to get my name out there. So it was a very slow process. It still is. And sometimes I'm like, oh, if I was in France, or oh, if I was somewhere else. But on the other hand, it made me grow much more in other parts. Like it made me question myself from time to time, and still, but also it made me, be free of, how to price myself, who my client is, and other things that maybe if I had a bigger community early on in Greece, maybe that would help me more back and would make me, not be international, maybe. I don't know.
Amazing. That's a beautiful story. And it's so interesting how it kind of all started from you having an accident, from bumping your head. And you turned that into something positive, which led you on another course in your life. And I
I
love
actually
that.
sleepwalked and hurt myself. And it was the second time that happened. And it's something very rare. Usually, sleepwalkers don't hurt themselves. And the first time it happened, I was 15 years old. And the second one was when I was 27. And every time now that I can look back, every time my life really changed a lot. Like it was, I like to think of it like a wake up call, like from the universe, like, like wake up, what you doing? So,
Oh,
yeah, even if it was scary at the time, and especially the second time, because it was difficult to heal and all that. But yeah, now I can see it as a good sign in the end.
yeah, wow. That's incredible. That's a beautiful story. And I think it's something nice for people listening and watching, like to remember, because sometimes like bad things can happen in your life or whatever, but like that could help you and lead you in some other direction, which is wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
And I also like what you said about just sending an email to Malabrigo and asking them, because like I don't know if we say it in English, but in Spanish they say like you already have the no. So like why not ask? Because you have a possibility of getting a yes. And
Yeah.
I think that's really
Yeah. I don't know how it occurred to me. Like now I'm like, ooh, I was kind of cheeky, like,
right.
or it was a really, smart thing to do. But it was also because there weren't any shops that had these yarns in Greece. I thought, what, I really like it was actually a selfish act. I really liked Malabrigo, so I was like, well, even if no one buys it, I will have it there, So yeah, it kind of was and a smart move business wise, but it also, I think, a very selfish also, opportunity for me to have kilos of Malabrigo.
But why not? I love it. I think that's great. And you got to take risks sometimes. And because
Yeah.
now you've been doing, because I remember I watched your podcast like years and years and years ago. Like I
Yeah.
remember, so you've been doing this for a long time, right? Like how
Yeah.
many years now?
Now it's been 9 years, and full time. I think it's also with the years of COVID. It's always like a blur. Yeah, but now it's been like 6 years full time.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
So you left the eye studies.
yeah.
You
I left the eyes.
left the, but now you have the eyes for color. Um,
Mm,
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
Time. What is time? Who knows? But
yeah, yeah.
a long time you've been doing it. Very cool. So tell me also about the collaborations that you're doing. I know when we were in Madrid, we saw that beautiful leather bag that you have. Do you have it with you? Oh my
Mm.
God. That's so beautiful. I love that. And so I remember you said that this is a collaboration with a leather worker.
Yes.
Okay.
So that started because, we are used to having kits and things like that for projects, and I do them sometimes. And then there was a discussion with other makers, yarn makers, to have like a box with different fibers, or and then, maybe some how do you say, gadgets, for knitting. But at some point, it didn't work out because there was too much going on and all that. And then I said, okay, why not collaborate to make from time to time, boxes, but with my yarn. And if somebody wants to add a bit more money to get another prize, another gift, And I said, what? As I don't have here other yarn dyers or other designers, or the process will be longer for a design to be made, I said, why not have Greek makers that do something else? And so I liked my idea, and I also, wanted for at the same time. And again, as with Malabrigo, like I was kind of selfish. I was like, okay, what would I like to have? And like there was a soap maker from a Cycladic island, and she made soaps for me for the first one. That was for my birthday, like an opportunity to make something. And then I did something else with little pouches for your gadgets and stuff. And then I wanted something a bit more special, like for Halloween last year, because there's a lot of people doing, Christmas boxes and all that, and they're like really big, really expensive. And I didn't want to do something for Christmas, but something for before. So I said, okay, Halloween, and Halloween is about color and orange. Come on, I love orange. And it just happened that I saw this maker through a friend, and I went to get a gift for a friend of mine. And I asked him if he would do, any collaboration. I told him what I was doing, and he actually was like, yes, why not? Let's talk about it. And we actually became friends. And then the idea of a bag being a project bag, but also being a good bag, yeah, like a purse, started coming up. And I like that it had color also. So it's genuine leather, Greek leather. And because it's unprocessed, they do the color with silkscreen printing. And because the leather is untreated, it just absorbs the color. Wow. And then it's hand sewn. So it's really great. I loved it. And I'm very happy for them, because now with this design, but with another silkscreen print, they got into the merchandise of the Acropolis Museum, which is amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we're back. Just a little technical difficulties. Sometimes it happens, but
yeah.
So some time has passed, a few minutes. I got up and watered some of my plants, and now we're back.
Yeah, and I put some skeins up to dry, so perfect.
Perfect, good. And I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know that you have so much to prepare and get ready for Sevilla, but I thought we would just finish our little conversation and then
Yeah,
on our way.
definitely.
So you were telling us about the bags, which are amazing. And so are they still available? Like I know, I don't know. Are they still available?
Well, I will bring some with me, but now I don't know because we made some in orange as the original ones, but also in white. So I'll try and have both colors, and I'll try to have those little pouches that you can
Oh,
use either as a wallet or for your traveling needs. Like I always have it with me.
let me see. Let me see those. I don't think I saw.
Ah, it didn't record. So okay, so they also have this beautiful wallet. They sell it as a wallet. So we'll do with my print, with the TreLiz print, and so normally it's used as a wallet. I have one as a wallet, and I have the other one as for the little stuff and gadgets like markers, and it's the perfect size for the small interchangeable. Oh my god. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's
It's all good. What Mercury. I think Mercury's in retrograde. We've got all the technology going
and it's
crazy
funny
today.
because I had my phone, in silence because of our interview, but then because I was scared, to lose any of your messages while we were out, I got it up.
Don't
Sorry.
worry. No worries.
So that's
That is
really it.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and kind of push them maybe to have also a longer one for the longer needles, but we'll see. Maybe that will be. I don't know if they'll have the time to do them before Sevilla, but I will definitely have some smaller ones. Yeah, very excited.
Love them. They're so cute. They're so cute. Very cool.
Yeah,
So things to get
and
excited about.
yeah, and other than that, I will have lots of yarn. I wish I could show you more. I will have minis with me.
Ooh.
And I will have sock yarn with me, and I will have Stelina, singles with Stelina with me. And yeah, I'm just excited.
It's gonna be so much fun. And Sevilla is such a beautiful city. Oh my gosh.
I really can wait.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're going to love it. So, a few more things. What else did I want? I wanted to ask you also about like your inspiration for dyeing yarn, because when I fell in love with your yarn and saw that it was called sealskin, which comes from women who run with the wolves. No? So do you like to, and I know you have a Nintendo like yarn.
Well, I think whatever I like is an inspiration. Like nature can be an inspiration. Books like Women Who Run with the Wolves, which is, I think, my favorite book of all times. Because it's like smaller stories, but then they're analyzed and all that, and the symbolism, and I really like that. And yeah, and songs like Careless Whisper. Careless Whisper is this really whispery color, very calm.
Beautiful.
Or then there's like Akuna Matata, because it was orange and it had little specks of purple, and it reminded me of the Lion King. So sometimes I have the name in my mind, and I'm like, okay, what does this tells me, and I go for it. Other times it will be the opposite, like I'll do the color and I'll be, okay, what is that, and sometimes when I feel uninspired, I like to challenge myself and pick up some dyes that I would normally don't put them together, or like I would close my eyes and pick up dyes and try to make it work. So it will depend the mood and the state of mind.
Love it. I love it. That's so fun. And I think I see what it says behind you on your shelf. It says less thinking, more creating.
Yeah.
Exactly. Less
And,
thinking, more creating. Just like, and you have a friend who's this. Oh, so sweet.
yeah,
Oh,
this from another dyer, Nathalie by night. She's in Belgium and she does natural dyeing. Yeah,
Very
you're
nice.
yeah, and we're like really great friends. And she was last year in the southern part of Italy, and she brought me this little girl.
Oh, so cute. Okay, well, that leads me to my next question. I love the plants, I love the herbs and everything. So, do you want to tell us about a favorite plant or a favorite infusion or some plant that catches your attention these days?
I'm just a sucker for monsteras. I love them. They're like big and
Loud and bare
great. Yeah, and I love the little holes that they have on their on their sleeves,
on their
on
sleeves.
their
Just
sleeves.
some,
Yeah,
just some
but
lace.
yeah, but I think I'm, if I'm not the queen, I'm definitely a princess of propagation. So those are pothos. I love propagating. I love cutting a plant and putting it into jars and then just having it and seeing the roots. It just amazes me. Yeah. And
I
then
love
sometimes you're
propagation.
looking at the plant and suddenly it has a new leaf and you're like, when did that happen? I'm looking at you every day and there's nothing going on, and then boom. And I really really like that. And now with spring you can see the push, how fast they grow, and I really love it. And I have one infusion that I make myself, which is my mix of where when I'm not feeling well. So it has everything. It has St. John's wort, nettles, echinacea, calendula, dandelion, blue lotus, balsam, artemisia, and I think mallow blossom. Yeah. So it has like all the things that are kind of healing and calming, and I just put them in a jar.
I love that your first one was Hypericum St. John's wort. No, because this is the oil. I make
Oh, sorry,
the.
it's breaking up. I'm not hearing you.
Oh
Wait.
no,
Oh, good. Ah,
now
no,
you're. I see you perfectly.
no.
No,
Please come back. Come back to me.
we're frozen.
No.
We're frozen on the Hypericum. I can hear you. You can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. It was the singing.
Okay.
Sang the song and it came back because you were not frozen for me. I heard you singing.
Oh my God.
No, but then it froze for like a
So
second. But I
yeah.
was saying that I liked that the first plant on your list was Hypericum perforatum, which is St. John's wort. I call it St. John's wort, but it's St. John's wort, no?
Yeah.
And this is the oil extraction of that plant. And do you see how red it is?
Mm,
It's
yeah.
so magical. That plant is.
It's Yeah, I love it.
And in summer, do you
And
have it
then
growing by you?
uh I can find it close by.
Because
But
in the
some
summer,
years there's more, other years there's not a lot. Yeah. And then if the teas that I really like, that I buy, there are two that I really like. The one is the Yogi tea Breathe Deep,
okay, okay.
because from time to time I have lots of problems with my sinuses, and it's like eucalyptus and all that. And I like, that it's easy to go. I don't have to have my infusion and all that. And then there's another one, just the name, Indigo Punch.
Indigo punch. Oh, Heart and Sons. Okay, that sounds very familiar. I think I've seen.
Oh yeah, the ones that I really like from Honey and Sons, it's Indigo Punch, which is a flavored herbal tea, and it has, what does it has? It's caffeine free, and it has butterfly pea flower, fragrant apple and rose hips with crisp lemon, raspberry, and honey. So it's very fruity, like you could even do it like in the summertime. And then I also like jasmine pearl.
Very
It's
nice.
more soft. Yeah.
I love that that one is called Indigo Punch because indigo, like
Yeah.
the butterfly pea flower, like this is blue and it makes your
Yes,
drink
exactly. So the tea is blue. I love
amazing.
it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can actually also make tea with indigo, like with the actual plant. Like I think that it's
Yeah, with plant. Yeah. With the leaves. Yeah.
yeah, and like make tea with it as well. I think that there are people who I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. I love your teas. So, okay, so I'm gonna let you go, but before we go, I have my last question, which I like to ask, which is if you have anyone, it does not have to be in the knitting community, anyone who has been inspiring you, who you would like to recommend to us, give a shout out, someone who's making.
I would say, okay, I have already talked about her, Natalie by Night Creations from Belgium. There's also a bag maker, Sara. She's Italian, but she lives in France, in Mulhouse. And her handle in Instagram is La Cavalenne.
Okay,
So
I will put
you
it
will
down below. Mm-hmm.
And another great hand dyer who is in Switzerland, but she's also Italian, is Penny Lane Yarns.
Hmm.
And last but not least, the Grey Sheep Co. So they're in England and they have their own breed. And Emma is just amazing. So you have to get in touch with her and talk with all of them.
Very cool, very cool. The Gray Sheep Co. And they have their
The
own
Grey
breed of sheep.
Sheep Co. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we are going to investigate these people and I will leave them down below for other people to investigate, but maybe we could bring them on the channel and have a chat with them too.
Yes. And I just, to finish, I will just show my favorite color of all times because I just have to, which is Manawi.
Manawi. Oh,
Manawi.
beautiful. And what does that mean?
Manawi is one story in the book Women Who Run with the Wolves, and it's about the duality in ourselves and all that.
Show that color again. We need that on this. Show that color again. We need it on the screen.
Okay, Manawi. And it is my favorite color because when I first dyed it and I hanged it to dry, I remember, having the thought that I want my life to be like that, bright, happy, but also has little speckles, darker, with some bumps, but mostly let's try to be,
bright
joyful.
and beautiful and joyful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so did the name come before the color? The color gave the name.
No, the color came first and then the name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Gorgeous. Is there anything else you want to show us? Any other things?
I have my Soldona sweater.
With that color?
Yeah, with that color.
Wow.
Because I knew it had to be orange there.
Absolutely gorgeous. And I love the combination of the blue.
Thank you. Yeah, and I put longer sleeves because a DK colorwork sweater was too warm for here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, so excited to see you. See you very soon.
Yes.
And I will have all of your website, your Instagram, everything, so people can find you and reach out to you. And yeah.
And one last thing, don't forget, color is power, fiber is our weapon.
Yes, color is power, fiber is your weapon. Do it. I love it. Yeah. I love it. We all need to have more color in our lives and more vibrant and sunshine and love.
Thank you very much for having me, Nicole. And it was really nice to see you and catch up.
It was so nice to see you too. I can't wait to see you very soon. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your dye pots and dyeing and everything.
You too. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.